Protests are continuing across Iran as demonstrations over high inflation and rising living costs enter their fifth day. The unrest began on December 28th and has spread to several cities, including Tehran, Shiraz, and Kermanshah. As protests continue, U.S. President Donald Trump issued a strong warning to Tehran. In a message posted on Truth Social, Trump said that if Iran shoots and violently kills peaceful protesters, the United States would come to their aid, adding that the U.S. is locked and loaded and ready to act. Clashes have been reported between protesters and security forces. Videos shared on social media show cars set on fire and a heavy police presence in some areas. Iran's semi-official Fars news agency says at least 6 people have been killed so far, with deaths reported in Lordegan, Azna, and Kodasht, all in western Iran.
The government, even if there are harsh voices, will certainly listen patiently. We firmly believe that our dedicated people possess an extraordinary amount of patience. And when they finally decide to raise their collective voices, it unequivocally signifies that the immense pressure and burdens they have been enduring have reached an exceptionally critical and unsustainable level. The government's job is to listen to these voices and help reach a common understanding to solve the issues that exist in society.
In Azna, officials say clashes broke out near a police station, where protesters allegedly threw stones and set police vehicles on fire. Authorities also report dozens of arrests. In the city of Masoud near Tehran, officials confirm that 30 people were detained for disrupting public order. Iran's Revolutionary Guards say one security officer was killed during the unrest in Lordegan province. Amid renewed tensions in the Middle East and growing concerns over Iran's nuclear ambitions, the U.S. president earlier issued a warning to Tehran, speaking alongside Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at Mar-a-Lago, said Washington could launch powerful military strikes if Iran attempts to rebuild its nuclear program, warning of very powerful consequences.
Also, with another operation of Israel in Iran, you said before the meeting with Netanyahu that you are in support of Israel if the ballistic missile project will take on and also the nuclear weapon. But after the meeting, after what you know from the intelligence, how close are we to another war with Iran?
Well, I don't want to say that, but Iran may be behaving badly. It hasn't been confirmed, but if it's confirmed, look, they know the consequences. Consequences will be very powerful, maybe more powerful than the last time. Yeah. And Iran should have made a deal the last time. I gave them the option. I said, you can make a deal. Do it. I told them, do it. And they didn't believe me. Now they believe me.
Do you have evidence that Iran is behaving badly? And what do you mean by that?
This is just what we hear. But usually where there's smoke, there's fire. Have you heard the expression?
But what do you mean related to the nuclear capability?
Well, no, I'm hearing that they're not nuclear yet, but maybe nuclear too. The sites were obliterated, but they're looking at other sites. That's what I've heard. They're looking, so it'll take a long time. They're not going to go back to where they were, but they have other places they can go. And if they're doing that, they're making a big mistake. Yeah, please. There's no reason for them to do it.
Mr. President, is the United States currently open to engaging in bilateral discussions with Tehran? We're hearing reports from numerous countries that there may be some discussions. Is that something you would support, or something that is happening?
Would.
You
Sure.
would support that?
I would, yes.
Right now. Thank you, sir.
I have been, by the way, before the war, I would support that. I said to him, baby, I said, let's negotiate. And they didn't believe what was going to happen would happen. Well, I'm not concerned about anything that Israel's doing. I'm concerned about what other people are doing or maybe aren't doing. But I'm not concerned. They've lived up to the plan. They're strong. They're solid. And sometimes they don't understand when somebody violates something that you want to give them a second chance. Well, we'll give them a couple of second chances. But no, Israel's lived up to the plan 100%. Don't forget, we made the plan possible by taking out Iran. And speaking of Iran, I hope they're not trying to build up again, because if they are, we're going to have no choice but very quickly to eradicate that buildup. So I hope Iran is not trying to build up, as I've been reading, that they're building up weapons and other things. And if they are, they're not using the sites that we obliterated, but they're using possibly different sites. We know exactly where they're going, what they're doing, and I hope they're not doing it because we don't want to waste the fuel on a B-2. It's a 37-hour trip both ways. I don't want to waste a lot of fuel. No, I think he's going to be in great shape. He's a wartime prime minister at the highest level. He's achieved tremendous success. And I'll say it, if you had 8 out of 10 prime ministers in his position right now, or before right now, maybe, you wouldn't have Israel any longer. Israel would not exist. I'd say two of them would, and 8 of them wouldn't. Those are not good odds. You needed a very special man to really carry through and really help Israel through this horrible jam. These are major factions, and it started with our negotiation with Iran. I think it probably started with Soleimani. That was really where you mentioned that today, which started with Soleimani. Bad guy, doing bad things, hurting a lot of people, killing American soldiers and other soldiers. But it started right there, would probably be the starting point. And then from that point forward, but you have a wartime prime minister at the highest level. There could be other wartime prime ministers, but they'd lose. He won. And I think the people of Israel appreciate it. I think a lot of the people in the world appreciate it, actually. And because of that victory, we were able to get peace in the Middle East. If you had a different kind of a personality, if you had a weak person or a stupid person, and there are plenty of both of them, you would not have had success, and you might not have Israel. And you report for Israel. I know you're very proud of it, and you do a great job. You might not have a job because there might not be an Israel right now if you had a different prime minister. That's a big statement, but to me it's a very simple statement to make. I'm looking at Pete Hegseth, and he's sort of nodding. If they don't have a strong prime minister, Pete, you might not have Israel today. I think he'll go down in the record books. And, I was a big help. I'll be honest with you, big help. Somebody said in the room, if you don't have Trump, you needed a proper combination of everything. And if you didn't have that combination, which they had, you would not have an existing Israel right now. And the people of Israel know it. That's why they like me, and it's why they actually like him. He's got a little bit of a love-hate more than I do over there. But you know what? Even the haters have a lot of respect for him. There's a lot of jealousy about him. A lot of jealousy. Jealousy is a bad word. But I believe you would not have Israel right now. So it's a big deal.